You are not disorganized. You just need less to manage. Hey, everybody, it's Whitney with Girl Friday Crafts. Welcome to this week's organizing tip of the week. And we are taking a little bit of a deeper dive into the R of my craft space organization acronym, which is reduce. I came at you with this very gently last week because I know that the idea of downsizing our craft space creates some anxiety for us crafters because we've invested a lot of money into our craft supplies. There is the element of what if I need this? What if I come up with a project idea and we don't want to spend money again on things we already have? And then there is some legitimate, I have these supplies for a project that is planned or in use. So it's not the easiest concept to embrace, and we can't necessarily Marie Kondo it because all of our craft supplies bring us joy, at least initially. So it's more complicated and complex than it sounds. I'm hoping that you watched last week's video and you downloaded those journaling prompts and you started to think a little bit about not destashing as a negative thing, but as a positive thing, and how it can actually foster your creativity because it gets the clutter out of your space and out of your brain. It makes it easier for you to find things because you can organize in a way that makes sense because your supplies fit your space. And we've given ourselves permission to let go of some things. So I'm going to talk about that a little more this week, what that looks like, a process that will help you de-stash in a way that feels good, feels supportive, and some ideas on what to do with those excess supplies. So I touched on this last week, and I'm not going to get too deep into it this week either because I am not a licensed therapist or anything like that. It's just something that resonated with me. I think I was supposed to put a link to this book in last week's video, and I didn't. So I'm actually, you all are watching me on the video making a note. But I mentioned last week, my organization guru is a woman named Julie Morgenstern, and she talks about organization just in general, not specific to craft space. And when I read her book, Organizing from the Inside Out, probably 20 years ago, it changed my life. And I know that sounds really crazy, but it's still in my top 5 list of books that changed my life because I was in this period of massive transition, and all of a sudden I went from being a relatively organized person to complete and total chaos. And I didn't completely understand why. And reading her book and the whole section on the psychological obstacles to getting organized was a game changer for me. And there's a lot I learned about myself and about why I keep things, why I hold on to things, that I was able to then start recognizing as I was making decisions about just in my life, what I wanted to keep, what to get rid of, how to think about it, how to organize it. And there are some things that are sort of deep-seated and potentially painful to sort of try to recognize. People who grew up in very impoverished childhood circumstances often have a need to keep things because it creates a sense of abundance for us that maybe we didn't have as children. If we attach sentimentality to things, our grandmother's necklace, a drawing your child made when they were in kindergarten, something that belonged to a friend that passed away, it makes it harder to get rid of those things, even if all they're doing is taking up space in a box because they're not out on display or anything like that. So that's just the tip of the iceberg in that section of the book, but I do highly recommend it if you are a person who wants to be organized and you find that you are struggling time and time and again with getting organized and staying there. There might be some underlying things going on around getting rid of things that would be helpful for you to understand. So I am going to put the link to that book in the video description. So beyond that, and beyond thinking about those things, destashing sometimes requires a little bit of support, because sometimes what we need is not only the dedicated time, that's a level of support, telling your family, hey, I need to work on this for a couple of hours and I need to not be interrupted. But also somebody who might actually sit next to you and be like, why are you keeping that? You don't need to keep that. It's broken. When was the last time you used it? What project are you going to use that for? Somebody who can really help you think critically about the things that you're keeping. Or if you set boundaries, it'll help you adhere to those boundaries. So I was doing some major destashing not too long ago, and I was going through tubs, and I told myself for every one thing I keep, I have to get rid of 2. I did pretty good, but if I was going to do that round again, it would probably be helpful to get my husband in the room while I'm doing it, because I know I fudged on a few things or tweaked the rules as I went along when I came to something that was a little bit painful for me to think about getting rid of. Not emotionally, but like, oh, but I want to keep this cute little basket of goodies that I have, or, these 6 Jello molds. I'm going to count these as one thing. And, I kind of cheated a little bit. So that is another way to address this, is to get a friend, get a spouse, a child, anybody that you trust that's going to hold you accountable, to say, this is what I'm doing. I'm working on this for X amount of time today, and here are my guidelines on what I'm keeping and what I'm getting rid of. Unless you're really in the mood to destash, which does happen, I would recommend doing it in small chunks because it can get very overwhelming. But I do have my days where I kind of tell my husband, if we had a dumpster out in the driveway, it would all go today because I can't deal. But then I know that that is a day that I'm going to be really focused and hypercritical about what I'm keeping. And that's a good day for me to have a good stash session, because I'm going to get a lot accomplished, and I'm not going to let the emotional elements of it get attached to what I'm making decisions about. The other thing that keeps people oftentimes from really destashing is the, what am I going to do with it? And so when you're destashing, I highly recommend that you have 3 piles. You have your keep pile, you have your trash pile, and then you have your donate pile or sell pile. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But the trash pile, really, things that are broken, pens that no longer work, things that seem obvious, but sometimes we even hold on to broken things because we think we will fix them. If you're not going to fix it, if you haven't fixed it in like several months, you're probably not going to. So you can put it in the donate pile if you know somebody who would potentially fix it, but it's time to possibly throw that away. And then the donate pile. And there is a whole list, and I'll drop some ideas in the comments of places to donate things to: schools, libraries, nursing homes, or adult memory care centers, or adult daycares. We are fortunate in my community, we have a creative use marketplace. So it's basically like a Goodwill for craft supplies, and they take donations. So I take things there. Sometimes I'll put in our neighborhood Facebook group, hey, does anybody have kiddos that would, like this paper or this yarn or these buttons or something like that, because we have lots of school-age kids in our neighborhood, and so parents are oftentimes looking for those kinds of supplies. Daycare centers are another place. If you have someone or know of someone that is a new crafter, even to a particular kind of crafting, you can offer to donate some of your supplies to them. There are some Facebook swap groups. You can put things on Facebook Marketplace if you are looking to even make a little bit of money off of it. Please be safe if you do that. And then there's the option of trying to sell, and there's a variety of different ways in which you could try to do that. Marketplace is one, Whatnot is another. Again, Facebook groups for buying and selling craft supplies, free swap groups, things like that. It takes a little effort. Oftentimes I will plan a session where I know that I'm going to do it for 2 hours, and then I'm going to immediately put it in a box and get it out of my house, because that's the challenge, right? And there are things that I could potentially sell that I will just donate, because selling it means it stays in my house longer. And if I'm in that frame of mind where I'm in a massive mood to destash, it just needs to go. And so I will take it to the creative use marketplace. I'll take it to Goodwill. Or if I know somebody's looking for something, because maybe a local school or nonprofit, I've seen them put something out, I'll be like, hey, I have this stuff. Can you come pick it up? So those are just some ideas. Staying organized is about systems. Putting systems in place means that our supplies have to fit our space. And so the D-stash, or the R, the reduce in that acronym, is a big piece of it. And categorization and reduce really go hand in hand, because while you're categorizing, you can be reducing. As you're going through all the papers to get them all together to put them in the same space in your craft room or craft area, you can be destashing because this isn't my style anymore. I have 17 of this one piece of paper. I don't need that much. You can be working through those two processes at the same time. So if you're ready to start actually making some progress here, I have created a free craft space reset guide that walks you through the first steps, and you can get that below. And just take this one piece at a time. That's what I really encourage. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe to get notified when I post new videos. If you've worked through any part of this process, I would love to hear from you. I'm thinking about in April doing sort of a Q&A video. So if you have questions come up along the way, please send them to me so I can answer them on YouTube for you. And I will be back next week with another organization tip. Have a great week, everybody. Bye.